Vance, how many knew much about the Day of the Dead before the Pixar movie Coco? 5 years ago, Coco made the Mexican holiday the centerpiece of a, well, pretty good movie, but it also brought something that has been celebrated for thousands of years to the forefront. Day of the Dead, by the way, is actually more than 1 day. It's 2 days. Dia de los Muertos is a time for families to celebrate and welcome back the souls of the deceased family members. And to do that, families set up altars, complete with ornaments that remind them of the dearly departed. And for the last couple of days, several of you have sent us pictures of the altar you created for your celebration. Fanny Reyes of Nampa did that. Fanny was born in Canyon County. She moved to Mexico at the age of 2 and then moved back to Caldwell when she was 7. And she brought back with her how Dia de los Muertos is celebrated traditionally. Like Christmas for some, Fanny, a mother of 3, can't wait to set up her altar and usually puts it up days in advance because she wants to spend more time with it. They're not usually very big, these altars, and they take up just a small section of the house, but they do fill these houses with a lot of love. Putting out an altar for Dia de los Muertos is the manifestation of memories.
That's my tío Manuel. He actually lived here in Twin Falls, and oh my gosh, that man also was just full of life, and I just loved him, and that mustache was just amazing when it smiled.
A panorama of people and personality.
To me, it means a celebration of people that we loved, that we were able to hug at one point, and we still remember them and love them very much.
For Fanny Reyes, like most, those memories go back generations.
All my grandparents, my husband's grandparents, a couple uncles and an aunt, a very dear aunt to my heart, and this year we added a friend of ours also that passed away recently.
And while some may see this setup as maybe sad, that's not the meaning of Dia de los Muertos.
No, I get celebration. I get to think of my aunt Jovita's laugh and how we would dance and we would sing at family reunions. My grandma Raquel and her birthdays, and I get to celebrate, this their presence, this one day of the year, and get to share those stories with my kids as well. That maybe they didn't get to meet them, but they get to hear about these great people that were in my life.
Like the stories of her tia Jovita, who loved mango juice. Those are some of Fanny's favorites.
She was just so full of life and laughter and just always so happy. And all this reminds me of her, is seeing all the colors here. It just reminds me of our reunions and her tight hug. Out of all my aunts, when she passed away, I said she was the one that always hugged me the tightest, and I can still feel her hug when I see her pictures and all the color in my altar.
Color is just one aspect of the altar. It's also about what is left by those left behind.
So we've got, some of the favorite foods of my family members. My dad's grandma loved mole and arroz, and so we've got that. We've got some pozole that we actually cooked up to eat on Monday, and I saved some and put that out this morning. I've got some tequila shots there for my uncle. We'd love to have some tequila on Thanksgiving, and we've got a beer, some conchas and cookies and coffee. My grandpa, Cuco, my dad's dad, loved coffee, and so we've got some coffee set out for him. That's what draws them to us, and that's what keeps them in front of us.
And it keeps them alive.
One time my grandma was very ill, and she had to take some medicine, and she said that she needed something. She needed a candy, and she couldn't think of what the candy was. It had no color. It had no flavor. Well, it was a marshmallow. She wanted a marshmallow to take her medicine with, and so I've got some little mini marshmallows that we put up, and I tell my kids that story, and I just can think of her laugh out loud. So that was one of the dear stories to me of my grandma Raquel. That was my mom's mom that passed away a few years ago.
Sure, it's the Day of the Dead, but these days, Fanny doesn't see the deceased.
I see love. That love and faith, and in those people here and present is my faith and the love that they had for family and for me.
The altar isn't the only way Fanny and her family will celebrate Dia de los Muertos. This evening, they will gather at the Hillcrest Cemetery to celebrate her grandmother and her uncle, who are both buried there. Unfortunately, Fanny says her altar gets larger every year, but she hopes her kids will continue the tradition in their own homes someday. By the way, there's a Dia de Muertos event happening tonight, right now, in fact, at Jump in downtown Boise. They're going to have a display of local altars, performances of mariachi bands, and of dancers, of course. It's a big celebration, which is exactly what Dia de los Muertos is supposed to be.